Amy, just want to get you a video of Blue, show you what we're working on. So we have him out on Lowe's today, and we want to kind of talk about some things we're seeing and some things we're proofing with him and working on. So the first thing that we're incorporating is working for food. So sometimes when dogs won't take food in public, the value of the food isn't high enough, and so we have to build that over time, where the dog learns that the only time you get food is for working for it. And there can be a couple reasons for that. Sometimes it's like nerves, sometimes it's like just being really frantic, sometimes the environment is more exciting than the food, and so dogs are kind of like, I don't care, I'd rather sniff or go say hi to somebody. And so we've seen that a little bit in the beginning, but today he's doing really good taking that food from Dana's hand. And so Dana is encouraging him to focus. So what she's doing is there's a couple times that she's rewarding the food just for position, but mainly she's rewarding with food for the focus. So we're diving a little bit deeper with him. Dogs can heal beautifully, but have a horrible state of mind and not pay attention to us. So the position is there, but we want to make sure that the focus is maintaining on Dana. So that's first, for him being a service dog prospect, that's going to be really vital, because over time, if we don't have that focus, even if we have the position, pretty soon the position of the heel is going to become lackluster. He might start pulling, he might go say hi to a dog or something, because he's more entertained by the environment itself than the reward system through food on Dana. So really, really good for him. She's coming in and rewarding that down position as well as focusing. And so he's doing so good. He has to pay attention. Now, he doesn't have to look at her the whole time, but he needs to be aware of where she's at, where her leg is at as she's walking, so that he can maintain that position. And so those are basically the two parts to the heel: the position itself, whether it's on the right or the left, doesn't matter, and then the focus. So anytime he loses focus, even if he's maintaining that position, she makes him redirect onto her. And how she does that is she goes away from him and she's applying pressure with the e-collar. So let's say she's walking straight and all of a sudden there would somebody approach, or a sniff, a smell, a sniff. He decides to sniff and there's a smell. What she does is she goes away and she applies e-collar until he's back in position. And so he has to look, he has to find her, he has to focus on her to maintain focus and position as well. So a couple things, like a little bit of environmental sensitivity. So you see, as this leash is dragging, he's kind of walking almost like he has shoes on, or his feet are sticky. He's a little bit cautious about new environmental stuff. So sometimes we find that these tighter corners, some dogs that are a little bit nervous by the environment will hesitate going into these corners. They'll hesitate with new things like wheels, loud stomping noises, clapping sounds, things that are really loud that may startle the dog, like cans dropping on the ground or whatever. So we want to make sure that he is maintaining focus on Dana. Now, it's one thing if he gets startled. It's another thing if he can't recover from being startled. So that comes with just applying new things in putting stuff over his head. And every single time he does well with it and he maintains that position, Dana's rewarding him for food. So the food is vital at this point, especially for a young pup. It goes over his head, and his ears, you can see it subtly. He looks so happy-go-lucky, but the avoidance right there, that's nerves. He's like, oh, I don't know about that. And so we work it in slowly. And so she's going to make him fix it all the way back. We want to really make sure that we're following through so he doesn't learn, okay, if I'm uncomfortable by something, I'm going to flee from it. Like I said, if he gets startled and we need to fix stuff, that's fine. As long as he can recover, that's what we're after. And so, just putting him in situations that are different and weird that dogs don't typically see in their day-to-day life. So, got another little dog here. Just creating more of a neutral response around dogs. He's social and happy-go-lucky, and we want to make sure that we are working him around environments and not muddying our jobs. So sometimes people have this idea that, well, my dog can go be like a dog park dog sometimes and be obedient at other times. When we're training for service dog work especially, we don't really have him engage with dogs that we don't know. I mean, it might be one thing if you have dogs in the family or something like that, but really these two dogs Dana and I have been working for the past 30 minutes, and they have not met. So they can smell each other. They're they're aware. They're not like blinded that there's other dogs around us, but really the task for him is focusing on Dana and what he's supposed to be doing. So what direction she's giving him. So that's going to help him with all kinds of stuff, excitability, nervous stuff by the environment, and just overall obedience and good manners. So some other things, e-collar wise, we're kind of working him on what we call a pressure release system. So when he loses focus or he gets out of the heel position, pressure is applied from the e-collar continuously until he gets out of position. So she's applying that pressure. Once his ear is right next to her leg, the pressure from the e-collar goes away. So this is functional because it can really be a great motivator and a continuous motivator for a dog. There's occasionally some trainers, there's nothing wrong with this, we just do it a little bit differently, that might just tap a couple times or continuously tap. We have found that we can maintain heel positions more consistently when we do it this way. So levels are low. With continuous e-collar, you'll often find that dogs work lower. Sometimes if we do tapping, we have to go higher on the e-collar because it's not a continuous pressure, and dogs are so in the moment. So one moment they might be feeling it and the next moment they're sniffing and excitable by something else, and we need to adjust levels. So the continuous e-collar pressure can really help. So anytime he needs to move, whether it's he needs to move to get into the heel position or if he needs to move to get onto a dog bed, we are doing continuous pressure. So if he broke, you know, away from one of those, we would do continuous e-collar until he gets on. Good job, buddy. We'd even do this for like a recall. Let's say he was off leash somewhere running around and we were to say, Blue, come, and he was not coming, we would say, Blue, come, hold down the e-collar until he starts to make the journey back to us, and then we can let up the button. So pressure on until we get position with heel and place, pressure on until we get intention with recall. So because we want to reward that whole action of coming back to us with zero pressure. So really, really good for him. He's doing awesome. We're only gonna do taps for things like manners. So like if he were to like jump on us, we might tap maybe a couple times if he's continually jumping on us. We could also tap for like breaking a down stay or a sit stay, and all of those things Dana can go into a little bit more of, but just wanted to show you how we're using and incorporating the e-collar and the food and what we're seeing with environmental sensitivities and how we work through that and combat that. So we're doing good. He's a happy-go-lucky sir. Good job, Blue.